All right, everyone, I am in the small town of Salem, New Jersey. I am heading towards downtown. Yeah, at first glance, it looks like a lovely, very old town, founded in 1675. But this is a town under extreme duress. What I'm going to do first is head into downtown here. I'm going to stop and get out on foot, and I'll tell you the story of Salem. It is, what is today? Wednesday. It's about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. You can see it's pretty quiet. Let me show you a map real quick. See, I'm in South New Jersey, and then here's population history, and it'll explain a lot. 1950 was peak population. There were a little over 9,000 people here. Last census, 5296. So, almost half the town's gone. This is a town that was built on the symbiotic relationship between tomatoes and glassmaking. At one time, this town was the top producer of glass in the United States. Now, it had been tried before, and I'm talking about in the mid-1700s. Glassmaking had been tried before in several places in the country, but they just couldn't seem to get it to work till they got here. And it was here in the mid-1700s that glassmaking took off. Why? Because of the sand. The sand in New Jersey is especially good for making glass. And so glassmaking flourished. Jobs were created. The town started to prosper. Companies, sandworks, there were jobs there, the people providing the sand for the glass. Additionally, in this part of New Jersey, the climate was especially good for growing tomatoes. And so in 1905, Heinz came to town to make ketchup. You had everything here. You had tomatoes, you had glass companies making bottles. Port here, the port of Salem, is an international port to ship the products in and out that you needed. A person could get a job here in Salem and feed his family and retire comfortably and live in a really nice house. But like we see in so many places in this country, industry ended. Heinz shut down in 77. Pretty simple to see what happened to the town after that. The glassmakers had no one to make glass bottles for. They started slowing down and laying people off. The sandworks companies, stopped producing the sand, laying people off. The port had less people or less products to ship in and out. Tomato growers all of a sudden didn't have a place to sell their tomatoes. And I don't even think you get tomatoes in New Jersey anymore. You get them all from Florida and California and Mexico and Canada. And so this town has been basically dying ever since. This is an interesting county courthouse. This was built in 1735 and is still used as the county courthouse to this day. Wow, hundreds of years later. This is the second oldest continuously used courthouse in the United States. That's amazing, isn't it? That is federal architecture, by the way. Now, federal architecture was developed after the Revolutionary War. Developed specifically for, you guessed it, federal buildings. So, of course, all that industry's gone. Crime became an issue. So let's just jump into the crime right now real quick. Last year the crime rate here 4703 per 100K, so that comes down to about 4.7 per 100 people. That's pretty high crime, twice higher than the US. The US is 2.3. But here's the breakdown between violent and property crime. 2604 for property, 2099 for violent. That's an unusual number. Usually property crime is about 70-80% of the crime, and violence 20 to 30. Not here. Violent crime here is almost half. 2,099 per 100K. So what, about 20 per 1,000? That is extremely high. Here's how it would rank in the top 10 big cities in the US. And you can see New Jersey's already got 2 cities on that list. Atlantic City and Camden. Salem would rank even higher than those. Let's just pass by it earlier. Martin Luther King Jr. Mini Park. Man, can you hear that? Gives this town a bit of a creepy feel. I'm still in downtown, but this is a cross street. Let me give you a quick look at some of the buildings here. Pretty much everything is closed. There's not really a lot going on here. Like I said, it's about, I guess about 10 a.m. on a Wednesday, like I said. And yeah, there's just nothing happening down here in the downtown. There's an old store here. Looks like it was an antique store, maybe. Odds and ends, that kind of thing. You can see inside there's all kinds of treasures. But man, you wonder what all this is worth. It's got to be worth something. Huh. And this looks like it used to be an old pub. Yeah, it's just full of junk now. It occurred to me that I can't just walk past this church and not tell you about it. I'm at the side of the building, so I can show you it in the light. This is the First Presbyterian Church. This was built in 1856. And coming into town from a long distance away, you can see that spire. This is Romanesque architecture. That is quite beautiful, isn't it? I'll see if I can go inside. All right, let's read this placard first. It's on the National Register. 1856, First Presbyterian Church of Salem, New Jersey, Register of Historic Places, 1974, National Register. Significant for its Romanesque and Gothic architecture, its steeple structural design, and for being a work of architect John MacArthur of Philadelphia. All right. And is it open? It is not. This is built in 1721. It was a hotel at one time, in addition to other businesses. Here, let's read the placard. Alexander Grant House, built 1721. Earlier portions built 1690. Wow. In addition to serving as a residence, these buildings once housed a temperance hotel and medical offices. John S. Rock, the first African-American attorney admitted to practice law before the U.S. Supreme Court, studied dentistry here. So not only was he a lawyer, he was a dentist prior to 1850. How about that? Yeah, there are some amazing buildings here. I am entering Griffith Street. It is right here on the other side of these trees. That's where the Heinz ketchup plant was. It's been torn down. And here, let me point the camera this way. This is the glassworks company, or their factory. Let's get you a look this direction again real quick. Yeah, it's all been torn down. Anyway, yeah, this is where the glass was made for the ketchup. And it has been closed down too. I believe this closed 2014. I read that an investment company has bought this just last April, about 8 months ago, and their plan is to do something with it. No sign of that happening yet, it looks like, though, in October. Yeah, it's just a big, hulking, empty building now. A monument to what was, or what once was, and what was once a great, prosperous town. A symbol of the death of the American dream, quite frankly. Let's see, Arda Group, is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, that was the glass maker. I just wanted to come over here and take a look, see if I can see inside. Former glass making company. Jeez. Sad, huh? A common sight in the, well, in rural America now. It's just decaying in the wind. This was a place that fed many a family and kept them housed and clothed. Yeah, it is all gone now. Look at this, it says sand only. I guess this is where the sand was brought in. What do you think? That unique New Jersey sand, perfect for making glassware. Crazy, huh? Welcome to Arda Group Glass, Salem. Welcome indeed. This looks like, well, I thought it was maybe a house first. It's right across the street here. Door is wide open. Not sure what this was. I don't think I want to go poking around in there. But I would guess it had something to do with the glass company. It is being retaken by nature now. The landmarks of the town, the Salem Water Tower, and barren, empty parking lots. This just makes you sad, you know, that this is our country. Yeah, and there's the Salem River. Feeds directly into the Delaware River. And the Port of Salem is just right up here. I'm at the Port of Salem. It's not a deep water port. I think the water only goes 16, 20 feet deep. See if I can get to the front of it here. But it is an international port. An international port of entry. Yeah, here's a front view of it. Like I said, it's international port of entry, and there's still some products that come in and out of the port, but it's nothing like it used to be. You can see it's in pretty sad shape. When you drive through the town, you can't help but notice beautiful, huge houses that line the streets. You can tell this was once a very, very prosperous town. Look at some of these houses. Amazing. Just fallen into disrepair. So you just get out on one of the main streets. And you can see it. The demise of the town. Companies close, move overseas, consolidate, and they just leave small towns like this in a lurch. And no jobs, no prospects. That's what you have here. Let me give you the ethnic breakdown. 56% black, 30% white, 9% Hispanic. The remaining is mixed race or other. Just right outside of downtown. Median age here is 36, by the way. That's pretty young. You know, the U.S. median age is 39, so town's a bit younger. It's not dying out for age, it's just people leaving. And so you get out in the streets. See some once amazing houses. It's just incredible. Fortunately, many of them are just like this right here. Look at that house. What an incredible house that was. All over here. Let's get another look at it. Damn, that is, or was so beautiful. It's just looks haunted now. This one too. Yeah, just giving you a look of the neighborhoods. Let's do median household income. $40,650 a year. That's $782 a week. That's not too bad, but look at New Jersey's median household income. $101,000, a little over. Yeah, much lower here. No cookie cutter here. I just love old houses like this. It's just amazing to me that then we'll run into one like this. And that is being swallowed up by nature. That's crazy, isn't it? Here's the poverty rate. 31.2% overall. School-age children 43, 65 and older 10%. Again, much higher than New Jersey. New Jersey's poverty rate's actually quite low. You see it there, 9.8%. You can't just help but think, wow. Rocking chair's still on the porch there. Some of these are actually in really good condition. But the whole town is not like this. Sun is shining in the camera. Hopefully you can see this. Let me give you cost of living. It's an 88. Look at New Jersey's, 121. Woo! Pricey state. Transportation's highest at 108. You can see everything's above 100 just about, except for housing. That is a 48. It tells us that houses here are going to be inexpensive. We'll get to that shortly. Yeah, that caught on fire, didn't it? I read that the property taxes in this town are second highest in the state. Wow, nature is taking that one. You can barely see it back there. I find that astonishing. Is that true? Maybe someone... Big fire here, huh? Anyway, maybe someone who lives here can confirm that. Another burned down house. Or partially burned. Well, how about if I give you the median home value? You ready? $69,300. Wow. Look at New Jersey's, the states in comparison. This has got to be one of the cheapest places in the state to live. Problem is, you got to be able to find a job. And there are just none here. The word Salem, by the way, is Hebrew for peace. But I don't know if they're getting much peace with the crime rate this high. Drug-free zone. I wonder if people are really abiding by that. I read that the town is a food desert. There's no grocery stores in town. Supposedly there is a Dollar General. I haven't seen it. There's a dog right there. That being said, Wilmington is what, 20 minutes away maybe? Wilmington, Delaware. There's plenty of grocery stores there. It probably sucks there's not anything in town, but it's still a pretty close drive, I would think. Well, you'll see some of these neighborhoods in really poor condition, and you'll turn down another street and you see this. There are apparently people doing pretty well here. That house is getting swallowed up by nature there, though. Beverage Mart Liquors. Yeah, that might be it for groceries here. For goods of any kind. Geez, I haven't even seen a gas station. This is St. John's Episcopal Church. This was built in 1838. It's Gothic architecture. There's a placard here. Let's see what it says. St. John's Episcopal Gothic Revival Building, built in 1838. Originally organized in 1722 as part of the Anglican Church of England. Original 1728 structure was destroyed by Loyalist troops who used the building as barracks. All right. Adjoining churchyard contains graves of prominent Salem residents. I guess that's them right there. And is it open? Let's see. Lift handle, turn right, pull towards you. It is. Oh, I'm sorry. Hi. I was going to show you guys the inside of it. It was open, but that guy there told me no, that I couldn't come inside and video. So sorry about that. We don't get to see the inside of the church. Well, everyone, I think that's going to be it for Salem, New Jersey. Up next, I'm not sure. You'll find out Saturday, next Saturday. We are actually staying in Philadelphia. It's about an hour away from here. and we're going to be here for a little over a week so Nicole can visit her family, her yearly visit. Now, I only have to hang out with them once, maybe twice. That's enough, right? What do you guys think? Anyway, so what that means is I'm left to my own devices for 6 or 7 days here. So I'm going to explore some different places in the Philadelphia, outer Philadelphia area, in addition to Salem. Very interesting town. So anyway, long story short, next video coming up this Saturday. I guess you'll find out where I went then. I will see you then.